What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and I got another episode of Other People's Questions, episode 78. I first off would like to thank all of you out there who sent in your really great questions. I got about 10 of them, so that's actually a good amount. And to jump right into them with one of my regulars, I have two questions from Criticism Guy 2009. And you first want to know, do I think the transition from cartoons to video games is becoming overused? I don't think it was becoming overused. I just don't think there's probably enough originality or effort being put into them to make these games as good as they can. Clearly, if they want to make games on cartoons, then there's certainly an audience, but I don't think those audiences are responding too well because, you know, these games kind of have a certain reputation about them. So if they can simply make these games better, then I don't think people would start to feel they're being overused and may even encourage other cartoon ideas to be put into games. So that's how I feel about that. Your next question is, if I could pick any movie or video game franchise to direct, what would it be? In terms of video games, there are two franchises I would pick. I would pick The Devil May Cry, and I would actually just take it back to its origins and focus on that cool version of Dante that we all know and love. And the other video game franchise I would want to direct is the Uncharted franchise, and with that, I would actually just reboot the franchise with a new character. I think we can all let Nathan Drake go and focus on a new character and have them go on a series of other adventures, but that's just me. In terms of movies, I would want to direct the Resident Evil franchise because these Paul W.S. Anderson films are killing this franchise. I don't like them. Most people don't like them. Most of the fans don't like them, and we need a true reboot that is loyal to the source material, and that is what I know I could bring to the franchise. Your next set of questions come from SlowRider1978, and you want to know, have I played any of the Saints Row games? No, I have not played them simply because they remind me a lot of Grand Theft Auto, just with a lot of humor into them. And that's something I just have never been able to really get into, despite their popularity. As far as I know, I think Saints Row 3 is currently on the PlayStation N for free for PlayStation Plus users, so maybe I'll try it out just to test the waters. But at this point in time, I'm not really too interested into the franchise. Your next question is, have I seen the trailer to Saving Mr. Banks? Yes, I have, and I'll say this, Tom Hanks looks absolutely great as Walt Disney, and I think the whole idea of focusing on the story to probably one of the big Disney movie classics is a great idea. So I'm just curious of how accurate they'll actually stay to the true story, because I do remember a couple years ago they were going to make it, there was an idea to make a movie called Walt, which would have been like a biopic of Walt Disney, but as we all know, there is some controversy with his life, so Disney would never let something like that slide. But you know, I'm pumped up to see this movie, and I will be sure to do a review of it when it comes out later this year. Next two questions come from Mark Main, and you first want to know, after the 6th Resident Evil movie is done and they reboot the franchise, who should be in it? Oh, obviously we want to bring in the original characters. My only gripe is what characters will we use with each sequel? Do we keep bringing back other characters and kick some out? Do we have them just pop back in and pop out? Obviously we want to focus on like maybe the main three, which would be like Chris, Jill, and Leon. But I'm curious if we should make it match with the individual games, because with each different game they've used different characters, so characters are constantly jumping in and jumping out, so I think that might confuse audiences. So I think I would just focus on Chris and Jill for stars, and then see how the fans respond, and if they respond well to it, then maybe I'll just focus on those two characters. The next second question was, am I going to review the Grand Theft Auto series and my thoughts on Grand Theft Auto 5? No, I will not be reviewing those games. I've only played Vice City and San Andreas. You know, they're fun for what they are, but I think my biggest problem with the Grand Theft Auto series is that, in terms of story, it's the same thing. You're really doing the same thing over and over and over again. You're going to start from someone from the bottom, and you're going to work yourself up. You're going to steal cars, go on killing missions, and vice versa. It's just never appealed to me, and so I really don't have any real plans to play Grand Theft Auto 5. So I know a lot of people are pumped up for it, but it's just not something I've ever been interested in. Next two questions come from Reganter, and he first wants to know, instead of rebooting the Green Lantern, should they just make a sequel to the original and use a different Lantern with Jon Stewart? No. They have to reboot it at this point, because the Green Lantern that we're going to get next is probably going to appear in the Justice League film, and so they need to establish a whole new Green Lantern for this particular universe, because the Ryan Reynolds ones, obviously that one was a flop, and they really don't want to have this Man of Steel world have any connections to that world. So it's best just reboot it with a different Lantern. And as I said before, and I do agree with you, they should use John Stewart. He is my favorite Green Lantern out of all of them, and I think he would be a great addition to the cast. And your next question was basically a bunch of Arkham Origins questions, and yes, I'm pumped up for the whole series. I've always loved it from the beginning. I have all the collector's editions. I've pre-ordered my collector's editions for Arkham Origins. I really don't know if they should do a fourth one, because I do think the whole Arkham thing is getting a bit overused. They're focusing on one element of the Batman universe instead of trying to do other things. I think that's what they should focus on more. So I hope Arkham Origins is the last one they do in this series and they start focusing on other Batman storylines. The last two questions come from a newbie of mine who goes by the name of I Run With Scissors. And I Run With Scissors, you know, it's not really safe to run around with these, because you can poke someone's eye out, and that would be very unpleasant. And you wanted to know, what are my thoughts on the Assassin's Creed movie starring Michael Fassbender? I'm looking forward to it very much. I do believe at this point in time, Assassin's Creed is one of the few video games that you could actually adapt into a movie. My only concern is I hope they take out anything involving the Animus. That was the one thing I hated about all the previous Assassin's Creed games. Take that element out, and if you're going to tell this assassin story, just tell it in the moment. Then have us focus at a certain time period with one assassin, and if you're going to make a sequel, either have it just be an older version of this assassin taking on a new threat, or just jump to one of his descendants. That's how I think they should handle this Assassin's Creed movie franchise. If it does evolve into a franchise, just take the Animus out, because Desmond is just annoying as hell, and I don't want to deal with him in the movie. And the last question that you have is, who do I think should be Batman after Christian Bale? You know, I've actually been asked this question several times, and I really am not sure who I would pick. I'm usually not good with picking actors for characters that have already been done, but I'm good at picking out actors for characters that have never been done. So if you have any suggestions about who you think should be Batman after Christian Bale, I would love to hear in the comments down below, and maybe I'll be able to do a quick response to you, and maybe I'll come up with an idea of mine over time as they throw some new ideas out. And with that, those are all the questions you guys sent in this week. I'd like to thank all of you guys, and to thank you properly, I've got an audience question that I would like to ask you guys to answer. And my question is, in the wake of Pacific Rim's released, if there was anybody who you could mind meld with, who would it be? And for those of you who don't know what mind melding is, it's basically the ability to share your memories with a partner and them share their memories with you in order to control a Jaeger. So who would you feel safe sharing all of your memories with and wanting to know all their memories? Tell me in the comments down below. I personally would love to share my memories with my brother, but chances are he probably knows me pretty well even without mind melding. And with that, that is this episode of People's Questions. Again, I'd like to thank all of you out there, and if you like this video, please like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me in my future episodes of the People's Questions and movie and video game reviews. And remember, send any questions you want in the comments down below. And like always, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.